Hi, it's Kevin with Go for Lax, and today I'm reviewing the Maverik Optik 2. Alright, so before I go into great detail about this head, I have to give you a disclosure about Maverik heads. Typically I'm not a fan, and again, it's just my personal preference. There are guys like Kyle, Evan, the little scream you heard from Maryland is probably Kevin screaming no. Some people love them. For some reason, I haven't found the one that works for me yet. That doesn't mean they're bad heads, they just don't work for me. Again, I'll always gear towards the Stallion or the Rebel, because those are my personal preferences, while there's some other heads working their way into the rotation. But again, that's not knocking the head. It just, I have not always been a fan. That being said, I actually like the Optik too. So the Optik 2, so let's start doing the comparisons because everyone loves those. The Optik 2 is really similar to the Tactic in where the struts and everything are aligned. You can kind of see from the one up here, except for the Tactic here has a higher offset, and the Optik is really, they say it's a mid-low pocket, but who are we kidding, this is a low pocket. It's also got, much like most newer Maverik heads, the tension lock. So you'll see this little part that juts out right about here, and that's where you can really, if you choose to, anchor down a knot and pull the tension even tighter and not have it loosen. For me, I just did a basic low pocket. Didn't double up, didn't do any of those things, but I need a little more whip in my stick than I have in this one, and I'll tweak this pattern and test it out a little bit and do an update if it knocks my socks off. But let's go over some overviews of it. Now, here's if I had another Optik, I'd be holding it right here and like, hey, Optik, Optik 2. These are how they differ. But it's pretty much it's straight out the same Optik. It's a little stiffer. The face shape is more along the lines of the Kinetic, which, if you look, borrows a lot of the similarities from the CEO. Ooh, 3D. Except for, I feel the Optik has a much better scoop than the CEO. I never liked the scoop on the CEO, so I never really used it. But the face shape, where it's long and in here, they're really similar. So it's an easy pocket to string. Can't go wrong with that. When you compare it to other mid-low pockets or mid-low heads, again, we'll just use low, who we kidding? Low heads, they set up very, very similar. The pocket, the offset is a little bit higher than in the Command Low, but the scoop is far better on this one. Now, if we get the Mark IIA, of course this is a dyed one, but still, you can see they're really, really similar. But as far as everything else going, it's a light head, it's a strong head. The ball really does move out of it quickly, and it's accurate. But again, that's the characteristic of a lot of the low pockets. I think it's ideally an attackman's head, because I think as a midi, the defensive side beating on this would tend to warp it. And if you're a Maverik guy and you're gonna play midi, go with the Tactic or the Centric, as opposed to this, because I just think that, again, here's the Tactic. It's a lot more stiffer up top than in here. And also, this has that, again, the CEO or the Kinetic pinch here, that this is a little more beefier, a little more wider. So if you're going to play on the defensive side, I would gear to ones of these. But, I can't knock it because I'm not an attackman. If I was an attackman, I could see myself pulling this into the rotation a little bit. It's a good head. I can't find any fault in it. It comes in your basic 3 colorways of their jazzy hyper light blue, that graphite grayish type, and white. You know, if you like Maverik heads and you are a fan of the optic, you're really going to like this. I think if you liked the kinetic, you'll like this over that, just for the fact that I think the release on this is so much cleaner than the kinetic. But other than that, it's not like I said, I can't find anything wrong with it, and that's usually my first telltale sign if I don't like a head, is if I'm playing with it and I notice something. I didn't notice anything with this. Like I said, I will probably restring this and try to see how it'll take if I move the pocket up and add a little bit more whip. But other than that, all in all, it's a good head. It's a good improvement over the original optic. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM, leave a message below. Thanks.